Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Friday Night Live. Now, I've got a very special guest on tonight, a good friend of mine who I spent a lot of time with when I did some troop shows over in the Falkland Islands a few years ago, and we're going to talk all about that. We've got some funny stories, some funny videos to share with you. He is a comedian. You would have seen him at some point on TV or a stand-up event. He is literally one of the funniest people I've ever met, just on and off stage. So I've bigged him up. Let's bring him in. In fact, let's try and find some applause as we bring in my friend. Applause, Jared Christmas. Here he comes. I've messed it up. Where is he? I knew that was going to happen. That happens every week. So I'm sorry, my friend. They can hear you, but they can't see you. There he is.
Yeah, there I am. There he is.
There he is.
Oh, that was a hell of an intro. Thanks, mate.
I'm sorry, that was probably the worst intro you've ever had in your life, but I was trying to figure out
all.
the tech at the same time. I'm loving the shirt you're rocking tonight.
Thanks, mate. I've got to keep it cowboy.
Absolutely. So
yeah,
I'm
looking
tell
pretty
us,
hairy, though.
Yeah,
I thought
you're not
I thought
usually
I
that
would.
hairy?
Well, a little bit, but I'm usually, I trim up, but I haven't been able to get to a barber or anything like most people, and I kind of thought this lockdown, I'm just going to stick it out, right? But now
Your hair's looking very tame, though.
I don't know, mate. It's pretty.
Look at mine.
Yours looks great. I was just thinking, yours looks really great.
It's a hash job. It is a hash job.
Have you done that? I was going for Chris Hemsworth, and now I'm doing Tom Hanks and Castaway.
Brilliant. Right, so, before anyone who's just joining us, first of all, we need to tell them all about you. So just to introduce yourself, let them know what you've been on, what you do, and just basically start us off with that. And then I want to talk about the Falklands, because I've got a cool few photos to show these people in just a moment.
I feel like I'm in a job interview. Hello, my name's Gilbert.
You've not got the job.
No, absolutely not. Not with this hairstyle. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm from New Zealand, but I've been living and working in the UK for the last 20 years. And I've done bits and pieces of TV all over the place. Done a bit of Mock the Week and 8 out of 10 Cats, etc., etc. And what I like to say about those shows is there's people who go on them and they don't do good enough, so they get them back to have another go at it. But I went on Mock the Week once and absolutely nailed it, and they thought we don't need him back because there's no way anyone can do better than that. So he's clocked the game of Mock the Week on one episode. So I haven't needed to go back. And we went to the Falklands together just before the pandemic, actually.
So January last year, we went to the Falkland Islands together, which is good.
I've just done my tax returns for it.
So
claimed everything, mate. I claimed the military flight.
It was an interesting flight. So when we went to the Falklands, I seem to remember we had a few issues with the flight. The RAF plane went down, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had what must have been some sort of CIA unmarked plane turned up, which we thought was cool at the time. It's completely white, no markings on it at all. But then when we got in there, we realised there was no reclining seats, no legroom. Oh. And how long was the flight? 20 hours, was it?
Yeah, and the seats were rock hard. That is one of the most uncomfortable journeys I've had.
And there must have only been about 20 of us on the flight, though.
Yeah.
This whole plane, yet it was still uncomfortable. It was a nightmare.
It was brutal.
Yeah. So, and not only that, the way back, actually, it reminds me, we had to land in Manchester, didn't we, because of the ice?
Yes.
It was cold. So, then we had to spend like an extra 6 hours on the plane, added on, just purely because we were stuck in Manchester. Couldn't get home, even though we were in the UK. What a nightmare.
Mate, I'd blocked that out. We were so desperate, weren't we? And we weren't even allowed off the plane.
That was not ideal. Not ideal.
No.
So those of you who are just joining us, just to let you know, Jared is actually multi-talented. So he not only does comedy, stand-up comedy, he does comedy in all sorts of different ways, but actually he's also a trained firefighter. An interesting story. When we did go to the Falkland Islands, there was actually a big party. All the firefighters were having their big January party. They were all drunk, having a great time. Were nowhere to be seen. At that point in time, there was a huge fire on the runway. So there was no panic at all in Jared's eyes. I'm just going to bring up a little video. So this was the moment where Jared actually came in to save the day. He was mid-shower at the time. They called him and said, "God, we need you here immediately." And this was the moment where he tackled the fire pretty much single-handedly. And you may notice I'm in the driver's seat there as well, so I did help out a little bit. But that was the scene in the Falkland Islands at that moment in time. Safe to say, he didn't actually manage to put the fire out. It burned down. It was a tragedy.
I started a lot of fires in people's trousers.
Well, actually, so something I do actually have a surprise for you tonight, Jared, because something you don't know is not long after we left, the RAF firefighters actually did a charity calendar. So every month they had a fancy different person on there, and you're actually in it. What I need you to do, just put your face a little bit closer to the camera for a second. Let's just see if I just want to show you a clip from that. There he is. This is I think your February 2020. No, it must be March 2020. Pandemic starting. It's got to be the date. There you are. And they haven't sold any yet for charity, but
that's a shame.
I'll leave a link in the description so we can all get one.
We can get on that.
For that memorable year.
I took my top off. I'm full. You saw that. But my motivation was because someone else had got up there and it was really windy that day, and the water was getting blown back on them, and they got completely soaked. So I thought I don't want to get soaked, and took my top off. And then it wasn't until afterwards I realized how badass it looked.
It did look bad. It was like Rambo. It really was. So
it was like out of shape Rambo.
Something
Rambo who on a diet of donuts.
It was pretty epic. I don't think any of us had seen anything like it. It was a fun day that. And the other thing that we realised is while that was going on is there was actually some fighter jets inbound planning on landing on the runway, and they did call ahead just to make sure that the ground was safe, as apparently they did see us driving around with a fire truck.
Yeah,
so that was
and one of the guys in the band, we were chasing him because he said we couldn't get him with the water cannon, and he ran out onto the runway, and these fighter jets were inbound. It was a pretty tense moment, I think.
Right, okay, so something you should know is we have the lovely Charlotte from BFBS, who was down in the Falklands with us. She's joining us tonight.
Oh, nice.
Good to see you, Charlotte, James, everyone. If any of you have any questions for Jared, obviously drop a comment in the comments, and I'll keep an eye out for that. And we'll
and questions for Richard. Let's not block. There's a lot of questions for Richard.
Honestly, they're sick of me. Honestly, they hear me womble on every Friday night now because they're very kind and they join me. Hey, Emma, good to see you. And Mandy, Malcolm, thanks for joining us. So,
are you serious? Yeah, Malcolm's joined us. Not Malcolm.
You don't like Malcolm?
Malco. Do you not remember what Malcolm did? He slagged you off, Richard. Malcolm got a little bit drunk. He got a little bit drunk and started mouthing off.
Oh, jeez. Malcolm, what? He sounded so polite. He said, hi all. God. He sounded polite, I know. But secretly...
yeah, that's his code. He says hi all, and everybody knows what is unsaid is except Richard.
Oh, I've just had quite a serious question for you come through.
Okay, go on.
This is actually a repeat question. We get this now every week. Marmite or Bovril?
Marmite, all the way. And British Marmite. New Zealand Marmite's really good. I like New Zealand Marmite. It is different. Tastes the same, but it's milder. And since living in the UK, I'm all about British Marmite. So when I go back to New Zealand and have New Zealand Marmite, I have to put like 3 times the amount of New Zealand Marmite on to get my British Marmite buzz.
Wow, you're really into Marmite. So Charlotte's actually said, have you found a better flavour squash since the Falklands?
No.
So those of you who don't know, the British Army pretty much runs on squash. Wherever you go in the world on a British Army camp, pretty much squash is the only choice of drink that you can get.
Yeah. And different squash and different messes, right? So in the officers' mess, you get a couple of options, don't you? And there was always we always got orange, but there was an elusive one, wasn't there? The raspberry one. If that came up, it was like, what a night!
That was a treat. Only on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
So, but you've been all over the place, haven't you? So obviously we went to the Falklands together, but you've been everywhere with CSE as like an entertainment section that supports the army and the Navy and the RAF as well, apparently.
Yeah.
So they help them
Who are
out
those
all
guys?
around the world with entertainment. But you've been Afghanistan, haven't you? Have you done Iraq?
No, I never made it over there. I got asked to, and then I mean I didn't go because I got this is going to sound really showy offy, but I got offered a TV gig, and so I had to take that rather than go over, and then I just never got the opportunity again. And everyone I know that went over just loved the experience of because you feel like you're actually helping out a little bit because and being in entertainment, certainly in stand-up, it's a very solo activity, and to be going over and knowing that you are making a bit of a difference to people's time over there. There's no dancing around the issue. When you're in a war zone, it's a pretty shitty place to be. And then if jokers like myself can get over there and just distract you a little bit, then fantastic. So yeah, a bit disappointed I never got over there, but Falklands was great. I've done shows throughout the Middle East, and the Middle East does sound like I should have been there, right? Yeah. Middle East isn't correct. I went to Bahrain and places like that.
Okay, well, that's right. Where someone has actually asked, where would you love to go to? I assume that's. I assume your comedy. So what someone actually I want to ask with the same kind of question is: can you do comedy anywhere in the world, or are you restricted massively to?
I'm restricted on language. I don't speak any other languages. But
do they find you funny in New Zealand?
No, that's why I'm here. No, yeah. Yeah, I've done all right in New Zealand, mate. I've done all right. Where would I love to be right now? New Zealand seems a pretty damn good option of all the countries in the world. They seem to be nailing this whole sort of COVID issue. But I've done shows in America and Canada, throughout Europe. If people speak English, even as a second language, like doing shows in Switzerland and Germany and stuff, where people it's their second language, but you still find a way.
Yeah,
puns don't work as well.
Have you always been a comedian?
Yeah, I started doing stand-up when I was 18 years old. So I did part-time jobs and stuff when I was a teenager. And then when I moved over here, I did charity fundraising on the street for the first year while I was establishing myself. But yeah, since 2001, I've been full-time comic.
So I
saw no skills,
show...
no skills.
Yeah.
No other skills to fall back on. Once COVID hit, no other skills to fall back on.
I'll join you on that, yeah. So, those of you watching, I watched Jared's show last night. He's got a Zoom show, which is hands down the most entertaining Zoom show I've seen. And I've seen a lot of shows because I've been stuck indoors just like all of you guys since March last year. I've seen a lot of shows, seen a lot of magic shows, a lot of comedy shows. But honestly, I haven't had as much fun as I had last night in your show.
Thanks, mate.
So what I have done for anyone who wants to check out some of Jared's stuff, I've put a link in the description, the bio tonight, to a special that you did. You recorded a special, didn't you? Which I'm planning on watching tomorrow night.
Actually, I recorded that straight after getting back from the Falkland Islands.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I spent a lot of time in the Falkland Islands actually sort of planning and building that show, and then I came back and 4 days later filmed it in the pub across the road from my house.
It's a good place
so that's
to
on
test
Vimeo.
The material, no doubt, in the Falklands, because
I thought I could.
Word doesn't spread at all there if it's naff.
When you're faced with a room full of drunk soldiers, and you're going, I might try my long story here. That's got, So I never got a chance to break out my story about having to go on stage in Germany after a German drag queen called Fraulein Erotica. Didn't get a chance to break that story out.
Sounds like an interesting story.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Is that something you can share on a family friendly Facebook Live?
I can share the basics of it. I wouldn't recommend watching my special with children. Right. Definitely 18 plus.
Oh, but it's in there. I didn't realize you meant it's in your special. That's
yeah, it's in the special. But basically, I just tell the story of how years ago, very early in my career, I got invited out. I've got invited over to Berlin to do a show in a theater that was an all German lineup, and they had each month they had one English speaking stand up go on. And this month that I went on, I had to go on after a German drag queen who absolutely ripped it, had an amazing gig, got a standing ovation, and the host just brought me on. And I walked on to 400 Germans on their feet applauding Fraulein Erotica. And then suddenly I'm on, and they're all sitting down like they've been told off. And it did not go well at all. At all. It was brutal. Well, so I tell that story.
My plan is to, so me and my girlfriend are going to sit down and watch that tomorrow night. A Saturday night plans.
Oh, nice.
So if any of you want to join us, I've put the link in the description, so check that out. But also your other Zoom shows that you're doing them fairly regularly, but you don't have any yet, but they're coming up, aren't they? The
11th of March is the next one. We'll be launching tickets probably on Monday, I would say. Awesome. And me and my wife have a small events company called Pop-Up Comedy. And once restrictions are lifted as well, we'll be putting shows on, live shows on in whatever capacity that we can, outdoor, etc. Sort of whenever we are able to. So yeah, popupcomedy.org. That's the website to check out.
Awesome. I'll add that into the description as soon as we finish the
Mate,
live, so
I'm causing you so much admin. This is what you want to do on a Friday. I know what you've done. You've gone, I'm going to do a Facebook Live event, have a bit of chin wag, and then I'll be able to relax for the night, and I'm making you do admin.
So obviously, we've all been in lockdown for a year now. Everyone's adapted. I know you've adapted really well. You're doing the online shows. But something that everyone has to adapt to is we've obviously got to adapt where we live to try and make some sort of space that's suitable for... that's suitable for shows. He knows where I'm going now because I've just found this out. Yeah. Just curious, what room do you perform in?
Well, the thing that's key when you've got a family and you're doing online shows is you need somewhere that you can be locked away, separated from the family. You need a room that has got good acoustics and more importantly, a door that can be locked. So I am in my downstairs toilet. It's a utility.
Perfect.
It's a utility room. Look, there's jackets. There's the washing machine and dryer there. My kids call it the Poodio.
And you can do everything you need in that one room. You don't need
in
to
the
leave.
Poodio, yeah.
Nice.
So if you see me sneaking off to the side like this, you'll know what's happening.
Depending on which direction you go, we know what you're doing now. Yeah.
Either if I go that direction to the coats, I'm leaving. If I'm going that direction to the toilet, I'm sticking around for a while.
So I got involved in Jared's show last night. He did do a great quiz, a hilarious quiz on Kahoot, which was fun. And I was gutted that I was very, very close to winning a tin of hula hoops. Not hula hoops, hula, what do you call them? Spaghetti hoops.
Spaghetti hoops.
I was gutted. Mate. In the end, I came 100th and I think 102nd. So actually, I was quite some way off of winning.
A long way off, mate. Long way off. I got told that it was pretty hard quiz. I didn't think that it was because I quite enjoy putting the quizzes together. But it turns out I've been just finding I spend days doing it because I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. I got on a real kick on the finding out about astronauts can't burp in space. And then I started doing a deep dive on how toilets work in space. And I just got really obsessed with it. So.
I got that one wrong. I got that question wrong. Well, also, there was some interesting facts on there. The snail. Or the slug.
Snail.
What was that one?
Snails can, certain types of snails can sleep for up to 3 years. If they sense their conditions aren't right, for them, like they need a bit of moisture and whatnot. So if they're in a drought, put the music on. That helps when you're chopping a fact. Add some gravitas to my snail fact.
Let's wait for your fact. This is more suitable. It's time for facts with Jared Christmas. All right,
a chimpanzee's balls are bigger than a human's balls. Fact.
That is fact. I got that wrong.
Here's another one, mate. Here's another one. Elephants can't jump. Do you know how I found that out? My physical education teacher at high school, when I was trying to do high jump, told me that one. And I'll always remember that because elephants don't forget. There we go. It's a fact and a joke.
Love it. Love it. I've got a question from the lovely Jade. Jade has said, who's your favourite comedian, Jared?
What?
Yeah.
Say it again? Comedian? Who's my favourite comedian?
Yeah, who's your favourite comedian? Who do you like in the industry? And also, who do you hate? That'll be more exciting.
I'll tell you who my favourite magician is.
It's David Copperfield.
Who's that guy? Never heard of him. I've got a lot of favorite comedians actually. When I started out, I was pretty obsessed with Eddie Izzard and really obsessed with Eddie Izzard and Ross Noble actually. And I still fully like them.
Still follow
yeah, of course. I think they're great, and there's so many brilliant comedians in the UK and America. There's some great ones coming out of the States at the moment. So I'm really into a guy called Nate Bargatze at the moment, who's an American comic. He's fantastic.
And then marketing though. What a name,
Nate Bargatze. He's doing all right. Mate.
It's a difficult name to pronounce that. I'm going to look him up.
It is, and I don't even know if I'm doing it properly.
How do you start to look him up?
I would write comedian Nate, and I reckon it would just come up.
All right.
I think he's
New Zealand guy.
Sorry?
Did you say he's from New Zealand?
No, American.
All right.
But I would say also there's loads of brilliant comedians who aren't that well known out there. So especially now, I'd say give someone a punt, give someone a go. You might just find your new favorite comedian out there.
Give a shout out to the guys you had on the show last night. So you had
last night we had Rod Gilbert, who people probably know. Rod's been a regular on our show, which has been fantastic. I also co-host the show with a beatboxer called Hobbit, who we do shows together. We do a kids show and we do an adult show. The kids show is essentially the adult show. I just don't swear. And we also had the Scummy Mummies, who are insanely funny, aren't they?
Yeah. I'm not sure if that's not so much family friendly, is it?
Not family friendly in the slightest, but certainly parent friendly. If you if the word Scummy Mummies makes you smile a little bit, then it's for you. We've also had on that show, we had who did we have? We had a brilliant comedian called Andrew Bird, who is superb, and Spencer Jones, who's fantastic. You need to check out Spencer Jones, actually. He's done a couple of BBC shows. He did a BBC sitcom called Mr. Winner, and he's also got a series on BBC called Clunkerdunk, I think. Proper British, weird, surreal, funny stuff.
Okay. Right, I've got another question for you here.
Go on.
Yeah, go on.
Hard hitting.
What got you into comedy in the first place? Did you fall into it? Did you plan it?
I was doing a performing arts course, but I was just thinking about acting and stuff like that. And then a friend of mine dared me to try stand up, and I gave it a go. And the first one I did went really well. So I thought, I've done it. I've done stand up now. I can do something else. And then that same friend said, no, I think you need to do it again. And so the second time I did it, it went brilliant. I was like, okay, maybe I can do this. Then I would say the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th time, dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. But I'd experienced the 2 times that it worked. And so I was kind of hooked, just hunting down that buzz from it. And I haven't looked back since.
Next question, Loella, is where's your favourite place to perform? Or where's your most exciting place? Apart from
most
the toilet.
Yeah, my loo. My downstairs toilet is the most exciting place.
That's this year.
Yeah, I've performed in some pretty cool places. I mean, the Falkland Islands, I really loved it down there. I had such a good time. And a lot of that was down to who we were with. We were with such a great bunch. But in the UK, the Comedy Store in London and the Comedy Store in Manchester are fantastic places. They would be my favourites, followed very closely by Brighton Comedia. That's a fantastic gig. Bath Comedia is good fun as well. and any of the glee clubs. And if you're up in Scotland, you cannot go wrong with a stand in Edinburgh. And Newcastle has a stand comedy club as well. They're brilliant places. And I'd look out. I'd look out for your local comedy club as well, because you could, no matter where you are, there'll probably be a local comedian running a comedy night in a room above a pub. Once we can get back to that sort of stuff, I think that's where you need to start looking.
Do you do the Fringe as well?
I do Edinburgh, yeah.
Edinburgh.
2019, I did a solo show, and I also did my kids show with the beatboxer called the Mighty Kids Beatbox Comedy Show. And we'll be going on tour later this year. We were meant to be on tour last year, but, you know, a lot of people started coughing, so we put it off. And so we're on tour again at the end of this year. And also I pop up on The Dog Ate My Homework on CBBC a few times. So check that out on iPlayer. I think I'm on 3 episodes on iPlayer at the moment. That's a good fun show. And definitely family friendly.
A big shout out to the guy Hobbit last night. I've just remembered to give him a shout out. He was great. The beatboxer.
He is. Wow, he's incredible. So
I've never seen anything like it.
He was part of the world champion beatbox team called the Beatbox Collective. He's still part of them. I think he's won the world champs solo. He was UK loop station champion as well. The guy's super talented. Like when I do shows with him, mate, I'm like, wow. Even on a bad day, he's really impressive. On a bad day for me, I'm just a bloke talking, and we can all do that. But on a bad day for him, he's still really impressive.
So those of you, just to explain what he does is, so he kind of, I assume that you call that like a loop desk, is it? So he records kind of beatboxing, and then he does another layer over the top of it, and then he sings over the top of that and does sound effects. Yeah, and he makes it. Does he really make it up as he goes along? The
absolutely, yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's great.
The next one they do.
Yeah, and he's online. He did through January. He did a 30-day beatbox challenge. So every day he did a original, different beatbox sort of video that he put out on social media and stuff. It was fantastic. He's really good. What are you drinking, mate? What are you drinking?
So tonight I've gone with Malibu Coke. That's what I've got in here.
Well done. I did a job for Malibu way back in 2001 when do you remember they had a advertising campaign about laughter or something? About having a laugh or something like that. Anyway, they hired a bunch of comedians, and we had to go into nightclubs and bars on Friday and Saturday nights, and it was all arranged that when we arrived, I would arrive with some beautiful people in Malibu stuff, and we would arrive and they'd turn the music off, and I would do jokes on a loud hailer, and then the beautiful people would hand out free vouchers for Malibu. And it did not go well, because you're going into, like 10 o'clock at night into a bar or a nightclub with a DJ playing, people dancing, having a good time. Suddenly it stops, and then I'm a lunatic on a loud hailer going, so have you noticed funny thing about words backwards? Subaru backwards is Uarabus. Calculator backwards is Rotaluklak. Have you guys noticed that? And everyone's like, what is going on here? And then we hand them a voucher for Malibu, and they're going, oh, I'd never pay for this, so all right.
What a gig.
It was a pretty impressive gig. It was touch and go for a while. But also, the cheeky thing they did was you only got free Malibu. The mixer you had to pay for. So people were going up to the bar trying to cash it in. Yeah. They were like, Malibu and Coke, please. And the bar's like, that's 80 pence for the Coke. And people kicked off, mate.
The buggers.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Bloody Malibu.
The big question is, so we've been in lockdown for a year and a bit now. The kind of lockdown is, there's an end in sight, light at the end of the tunnel. What are your big plans?
Big plans are to start doing
and
live
little
shows.
Plans, all your plans.
And little plans.
I want to hear it all.
All the plans.
Yeah.
Well, little plans are to take care of my facial hair and the hair on the top of my head.
That's a big plan.
It is a big plan, actually. Some proper personal grooming. But Also, it's just to get back performing in front of live audiences, and do that as much as possible. Really, claw back some income, mate.
Yeah.
And also, I'll be doing a second series of a podcast I've got called Three Foreigners Walk Into a Bar, which the first series we recorded just before the lockdown, and it's me and two other comedians from overseas, and we celebrate living in the United Kingdom, all the quirks and sort of weird stuff that you Brits get up to, and then we have a segment where I break out some ye olde English words, and they have to guess the meaning of them. So it's quite fun.
Okay.
There's a couple of episodes out now.
Have you got a taster of what an oldie worldy word would be? See if any English people.
Funny you should ask, mate. Funny you should ask. I've got to Google it now.
Challenge.
No.
See if anyone knows these.
All right, here we go. I'll find them. Where are they? Okay. Crinky winky, Scottish. Crinky winky. What do you reckon that means? Crinky winky. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Let's pass that out to the audience. Phone a friend. Put it in the comments.
Crinky winky. That's my me doing a Scottish accent. Crinky winky.
I can only assume it's not the first thing you would think of.
Yeah, it's not rude. It's not rude. It's actually quite deep and meaningful, actually.
I reckon it means tired. You're tired.
Yeah, it is a feeling. It's a groundless misgiving or a poor reason for not doing something.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's another one. This is good. This is from Bedfordshire. Omperlodge. Which means to disagree with or contradict someone. Okay. And this is a fun word. This is a fun one. Parwobble. And that's from the southwest of England. Parwobble. I reckon let's see if anybody on Facebook Live, anybody out there on Facebook land knows what parwobble is. Give them time.
Parwobble.
Yeah.
Parwobble. If you know what parwobble means, stick it in the comments now. Have a guess. Have a guess. Because regardless of what it means, parwobble is fun to say. Parwobble. Tim says Crinky Winky thought it meant a man was cold. That's
yes, I'm on board.
That's the latest. Yeah. Martin said farting. Are we close?
Oh, Martin. Farty Martin, they call him. Farty Marty.
Malcolm hasn't said anything rude in a while, which is lucky.
Unusual for Malcolm, isn't it?
Samantha said angry.
What? Parwobble?
Parwobble, yeah. Or maybe they're just angry at us. I don't know. It could be.
Yeah, maybe.
Mate, is it an offensive word? Maybe we've said something we shouldn't have.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe she's friends with Malcolm.
They're plotting against us, those two.
Yeah.
Emma said to talk continuously.
Yeah, to monopolise the conversation.
Oh, it is? Oh, Emma. Let's give Emma a round
well
of applause.
done, Emma.
She is.
She wins a prize. You win a prize.
Do you have any prizes in the bathroom there that we could send out to Emma? Toilet roll?
No.
Any washing? Do you need anyone to do your washing?
Yeah. Your prize. Your prize is to come around and socially distanced do my laundry.
Awesome. So, so carry on. What are the other things? So your podcast?
Podcast. Obviously, my specials out there, but that's all done. I don't have to do any work on that. God, what else? It's just getting back into live shows, really. That's the main thing. That's the main goal, is to get out there gigging again. Not just because I need it financially, but also you must be feeling it as well. It's good. It's fine doing shows online, but being in a crowd, in front of a crowd doing your show, it's electric, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've been really and I've been really missing it. I found myself the other day trying to get that buzz by listening to applause tracks whilst vacuuming, and it just wasn't the same, mate. I mean, I took a bow after I vacuumed the kitchen and then put on a really loud applause track, but it didn't give me the same buzz because you know what? I knew I was cheating it. right? Because I hadn't done that good a job in the kitchen.
Right.
Because
Okay.
we all know if you got wooden floors, vacuuming's only half the job, isn't it? You got to do the mopping.
I'm going to try that though. I love the idea of applauding everything we do indoors.
But I'm guessing housework with you is quite fun because you'd make things disappear, wouldn't you? You're a magician.
I wish
you don't need a vacuum. You don't
need
a vacuum. You just waft your hands and the dust disappears.
Well, yeah.
And then the dust disappears and appears behind the ear of someone else.
That would, yeah.
That would be a good trick. Check behind your ear. Oh my God.
You got a little bit of dust on the beard there. Yeah. All right, since you're talking about magic, we're going to just test you. We're going to put you on the spot here.
Honestly, mate, I've got to be honest with you about magic, and I think I spoke to you about this. It scares me. I like it. I don't dislike it. I like it, but it makes me tingle and freak out a little bit. So I can see that. Places. Yeah. Only with you, though. Only with you.
All right, so
that is a card. I can see that.
Any card.
Any card.
This will scare you.
Yeah. And I'm not going to be one of those annoying people who says, the Joker. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say 6. 5, 4. The 3, 1, ace. 10.
No, up.
Oh, Jack. Queen. King.
Okay, you're close. You are close. Okay.
What? What's higher than a king?
No, it is a king. It is a king. You're close.
Oh, it is a king. All right. Yeah,
which king is it?
Hearts. Diamonds.
He's done it. There it is.
Yeah. Oh,
amazing.
Mate.
You've actually nailed it.
That was
what we'll
magic.
do. What we'll do before I upload this to YouTube tomorrow night, I'll just edit the space in between me asking you and showing you the card, and that is going to look incredible. That really is.
That is David Copperfield level magic right there.
You have nailed it. That's the beauty of virtual shows, the editing.
Yeah. So good.
Makes real life easier. It really does for magicians, I tell you.
Touring with you was so much fun because we got shown around different aspects of the army base in the Falklands and actually one of the visiting naval ships. And you just broke out cards and suddenly had all of these soldiers and stuff just absolutely entranced with magic tricks. Me and the band and the dancers, we were just standing in a corner drinking Fantas going, this is amazing. Because you just had 30 people around you and you're going, all right, you pick a card. Just doing all this stuff. And they were absolutely enthralled by it. It was incredible.
Well, the roles were kind of reversed. Like, during the day, that was quite easy for me. But I tell you what was tough is when you get onto stage for the evening shows, once everyone is totally wasted and they're just waiting for you to come on and they want the band to come on, they want to dance and they want to crowd surf, and then they introduce, and now we've got a magician coming on. They didn't want that. They really didn't. That was a tough crowd in the evening, but a good fun for sure.
They were good fun. I found it as well. Like, because I was hosting, I would go out and my first section I always found would be really fun. At the top of the show, I'd have that 15, 20 minutes where, everyone's really responsive and stuff like that. But then I had to keep going out throughout the night as they got drunker and drunker and just wanted the music, Yeah. And but it was fantastic, man. And we got so many good comments and people really enjoyed it. And it was an absolute blimmin' privilege to be out there. And
it was good.
Really cool, mate. I don't know if I'm giving away a showbiz secret here, but really cool to hang out with your dad.
Oh, yeah, that is true. We'll give a shout out to my dad. He came with us as well. He always wanted to check out the Falklands. It was an amazing place. What I loved about the Falklands was we went down into the town and we had a look around. And what was amazing is their prison there. The fact that they apparently the prisoners go out and do the gardening outside of the walls in the prison, and supposedly they hardly keep an eye on them. And someone we were talking to told us that one day the warden or whoever it was just asked him just to keep an eye on him as he went down the road to get something from the shops. So I think it was an army guy that was talking to us, telling us all about it. But supposedly, imagine walking around and then being asked just to keep an eye on the prisoners for a little while the warden goes to the shops to get a pint of milk. Bizarre. But the thing is, there's nowhere to run to in the Falklands. You can't go away.
No, of course not. And you know what I did? You know what I did when the booking came in? I immediately Googled what the weather is like, because they did say the weather in the Falkland Islands can be unpredictable. So I Googled Falklands weather, and it was freezing. It was like 0 degrees and stuff. So I bought some expensive thermals, and I show up to Bryce Norton, and I got my thermals underneath. I get on that plane. We end up landing in a tropical paradise for a couple of hours, didn't we? Yeah. And, it was like 40 degrees, and I'm in these thermals, and I was just thinking, no, I'm not taking them off, because then I'll just have to put them back on again once I get down to the Falkland Islands. So I just pushed through. And then we get to the Falkland Islands. It was like 22, 23 degrees. I was like, what's going on here? And then I realized what I'd done. I'd Googled Falklands, which are the Falklands, not Falkland Islands. Falklands is at the top of Scotland and is always 0 degrees or minus 0 degrees. I Googled the wrong place and bought expensive thermals.
I didn't know there was a Falklands in Scotland. Oh, God.
Yeah, I never used those blimmin' thermals down in the Falkland Islands. Never used them.
It is a strange place, though, how quick the weather can turn. The wind.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a photograph of you somewhere leaning over, probably a 45-degree angle from the floor.
Yeah.
Being held up by the wind.
Yeah.
It's a strange place. All of the trees in the Falkland Islands are all sideways.
Yep. Yeah, incredible. And we've got that great photo of you standing next to one looking like you've farted and blown the tree over. Was that you?
Yeah, I've got that. You're in the background of that photo topless. So, yeah.
I took my top off a lot in the Falklands.
You only had thermals with you, that's why.
Yeah, exactly. It was too hot. I was too
There
hot,
are penguins, though. There are some amazing penguins in the Falklands, which blew my mind how not bothered they were by us just wandering up.
And people think penguins are cute and stuff, but no one talks about the smell. Those birds stink, man. They're some smelly, smelly birds. Yeah, I get it. It's nature and stuff, and it was incredible to be, near nature like that. But wowee, they clean up a bit, penguins.
Would you do the Falklands again, do you reckon?
Absolutely. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I'd absolutely be there in a heartbeat. I grew up in a military family, mate. You're in the military. You get it. I grew up in a military family. My dad was in the New Zealand Army. It was just him. And
just him in the army.
Yeah.
the one-man army.
Yeah, that's my little New Zealand Army joke. And then my dad retired, so my older brother joined. So New Zealand Army back to full strength. So my dad was in the army, so we moved around a lot, lived on military bases around New Zealand, lived in Singapore for a bit. My brother went into the army as a medic, and I chose the glamour of showbiz. But I've always had it's always attracted me, the sort of military. I know I wouldn't be able to handle it because I don't like discipline a huge amount. I'm a big fan of a uniform though, and I like the camaraderie. That's the aspects of it that I really love. It's just getting bossed around and told what to do that I really, Scouts was too strict for me. So so whenever I do get offered anything for the military, I if I can do it, I absolutely do it, because I appreciate it, and I know it's out there, and it kind of has to be, someone has to do that job, don't they?
Yeah.
And you can't hate the player. You can't hate the player, can you? I know there's a lot of people who've got sort of political issues about military and all that sort of stuff. But, when you get to the people who no one's joining the army or the Air Force, Navy because they want to hurt people. They're joining it because it's a way of life. It's a living, and it's something they want to do. And if they do join for those really negative reasons, they get wheedled out, don't they?
Yeah.
People figure those people out. It's the so my whole thing about it is we're dealing with people here. people who have chosen a job that I know I could not do at all.
I think
So,
the most appreciative audiences as well for when
yeah,
from what my experience doing these shows, when you fly out somewhere to support the army or the forces, that most places they've literally got nothing to do. The Falklands isn't so bad. They've got a bowling alley there, which is the most frustrating bowling alley you could ever go to. We spent many hours trying to finish a bowling game. There were so many of us. We started a bowling game, and it must have felt like about 6 hours later we still had three bowls left to go each.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever I've done Tempen bowling, it's never got to a point where I'm like, this is dragged on a bit. For me, Tempen bowling is always finished just before you're going, let's do something else. Do you know what I mean? Just before that feeling kicks in, Tempen bowling finishes. But not down there, mate. Oh my! It was like we're stuck in a constant loop of Tempen bowling. It was brutal.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But mate, I've got a question for you. What is one positive that has come out for you from being in lockdown?
That's a good question. I would say the virtual stuff is in learning all the technology. I've learned a lot and that kind of stuff. I've also painted pretty much every room in the house at least twice. And I've learned a lot of DIY, mainly how not to do DIY, but a lot of DIY nevertheless. There's probably a lot of bonuses, that are little glimpses that have been good, even though it's you wouldn't choose lockdown. I think we've all learned some interesting stuff.
Yeah, and I like the DIY thing because I've learned a bit about DIY as well. Because before the lockdown, I took my approach to DIY was intentional incompetence. So very early on in my relationship with my wife, I thought, if I stuff these shelves up early on, I won't get asked to do this sort of thing ever again. So I intentionally screwed up some shelves. I mean, first of all, I didn't intentionally screw them up. And then I just went, I don't want to do this. So I intentionally did it. Whereas during lockdown, it's been, no one's coming around to my house. So I'm going to have to blim and do it, aren't I?
Oh, so you still haven't done it. So it's been a year and you still haven't sorted those shelves.
No, I have done.
Now
I have
thinking
done
about
some,
it.
No, I've had to get over the intentional incompetence. I've had to learn a little bit. But I think a huge positive for me has been, I was on the road so much. I was doing shows probably 5-6 nights a week, and I just didn't realize how much time I wasn't having with my kids. So I've had pretty much a year of being with them for every need, every want of theirs. And I am exhausted, and I can't wait to get out. No, I'm joking. I've loved spending the time with them, which has been fantastic. I mean, there's no lying. Homeschool has been brutal. I am not a teacher. I'm rubbish at maths. Can't do long division. Can't do short division. Don't even know if medium division is a thing or not, mate. So I'm not your go-to guy for maths. But when it comes to playing board games, I'm your guy. Been playing a lot of board games with my kids. It's been great.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
No doubt a lot of people, so I know a lot of people who join us every Friday Night Live are homeschooling as well. No doubt there's a lot to learn for the adults as well. Relearning school. It's like resitting a year, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. My youngest is doing area, measuring the area and the circumference of shapes. I know I did it at school, mate, but I cannot remember it. I can't even remember grammar, like nouns, adjectives. Do you know what kind of a word is a noun? Exactly.
I know what a bee wobble is and a crinky winky.
Pa wobble and a crinky winky.
Wobble.
That's gonna, mate. That's gonna do you more in life than knowing what a noun is. Because my kids have come to me with questions like that, and I've gone, "Oh, you've got an uncle called Uncle Google. That's how you find that stuff out."
Ask Jeeves. Is Jeeves still a thing? I'm not sure.
That's
the old school.
Yeah. Ask Jeeves and then get on your MySpace page, mate.
Yeah. So Emma said noun is a naming word, which makes sense.
Oh, thanks, Emma.
Emma's a teacher, I think, so.
Yeah, cheers.
So we'll let her off.
Cheers.
We'll let her off.
Yeah, we'll let her off. She knows the score.
Okay, everyone. Samantha's also getting involved now. Samantha knows. Everyone knows.
Of course, everyone knows. All right, smarty pants. Adjective. What's an adjective?
Right. And it's
I'm
not
surprised
rude.
people are getting involved. If it was me watching this, I'd be going, I've had a week of this. I don't want to do any more. I want to be watching Bridgerton.
So
Actually,
Emma's apologised now.
No, Emma doesn't have to apologise. Never apologise for knowing something, Richard. That's what I've learned in this life. Never apologise for knowing something.
How old are your kids?
My oldest is 11, and my youngest is 9.
So they're old enough to learn the DIY in the shelf putting up, that kind of jazz.
Yep. They're not interested. Not interested in the slightest. If it's not Netflix, and it's not Lego, or Barbies, no. I've tried getting Ken in the games of Barbies. I've been trying to get Ken to say, look, I could put the shelves up, but I'm talking about equality here, Barbie. Let's put the shelves up together. All right? You can't just rely on me, the good-looking Ken, to put those shelves up. Right? Let's do some equality here. And then they've kicked me out of the game.
You're no longer
It's
welcome.
tough, mate. It's a tough one.
So I'm just flicking through. If any of you have any more questions for us, before we go, put them in now, and we'll keep an eye on that. Just before
we wrap up Facebook. Once this finishes, all of Facebook finishes. I don't know if people know that.
Facebook is ending. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on these questions.
Are you more of a Facebook person or an Instagram person?
I really like Instagram. I find Instagram really quite positive. I don't get anything negative on Facebook.
Apart from Malcolm's he's been kicking off.
Apart from Malcolm,
he's just said no idea what that is. So he's
always playing the innocent, isn't he, Malcolm? Yeah. Always playing the innocent. You're right. Malcolm needs to cool his jets. He needs to take a long, hard look at himself in the mirror. I hope Malcolm's not taking this seriously and is actually sitting there going, "What have I done?" Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. If it's all used for positive reasons, then it's great. The one thing I will say about Facebook is, oh my God, it's a time waster, isn't it? I've kissed hours goodbye because I've opened up Facebook and then and just gone down a rabbit hole of funny videos people have posted and stuff like that. Next thing is 2 hours later, my kids are starving. So
well, at least 2 hours is better than 2 days later. Your kids are still starving.
Exactly.
Yeah, I flick through Facebook every morning, and it wastes. It's not a good way to start the morning at all.
It's not the most productive.
Are you on TikTok though? TikTok's much worse.
I'm absolutely not on TikTok for that reason. And also, I'm 41, mate. I know I don't look it. I look like I'm 27. Thank you for saying that, Richard. I appreciate you saying that.
Yep.
I'm a little bit scared of TikTok because it's taken me this long to get my head around Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and now you're throwing another one at me.
I see what you mean. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It doesn't give us time to master any individual one.
No. And also, I think if anything's worth watching, it will migrate from TikTok to YouTube or something. So
yeah,
we'll get to see it.
Are you on YouTube?
I am. Jared Christmas. I've got a site. Got some funny things I put up there through lockdown, mate. I created a few videos called Shed Talks. Shed Talks, like TED Talks, but worse and in a shed. So one of them, I teach people how to make instant pudding mixed with pasta for a non-nutritious, filling, disgusting meal.
Nice.
And another one is all about maths, but I have a breakdown whilst doing the maths.
Well, there are two things that we're all interested in.
Two things up there.
Check that out.
Yeah, there's a few videos up there.
Awesome. I'm
I'll be
definitely
posting.
gonna check that out.
I'll be posting clips of my stand-up special up there soon as well. Once I figure out how.
Right. All right. That sounds good. So we are, like I said, me and my girlfriend are going to be watching your show, your special tomorrow
Listen
night.
to him showing off about
So,
having a girlfriend. Eh? How often do you want to drop that in the conversation? That's the 5th time. Yeah, me and my girlfriend.
Well,
I'm proud of
we've
you,
got the
mate.
popcorn ready. We're looking forward to it.
Good.
So someone said, looking forward to trying out that pasta dish. So that's
It's delicious.
don't hold Jared responsible though if any illnesses do come from that.
Look, you cannot get ill. This is what you do. You cook your pasta well past al dente, and then you have your Angel Delight. Sorry, I think I said instant pudding before. That's a New Zealand thing. Angel Delight. It's the same thing.
Angel
You get that. You have
Delight's
that
nice.
mixed up, right? But don't let it set yet, because what you want to do is you want to put your drained pasta straight into your Angel Delight, and then you want to get one of those hand blenders and mush it all around. Get that pasta all chopped up, mixed in, then chuck it in the fridge for 10 minutes, and then boom, boom, boom. Calories, carbohydrates, all the C's.
A fully nutritious meal.
Yeah.
I like it. We'll be trying
Borderline
that.
nutritious, I'd call it. Borderline.
Awesome. So, there's you've not got a greatest response from this food
It's a shame.
idea. Although to be
It's a
fair,
shame.
it was only last week we were having this conversation about Bovril. I'd never heard of it until last week, and
You'd never heard of Bovril?
oh, don't start! I get this every week now. I've not heard of Bovril. Someone's described it as a warm beef drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at some point
Sounds
we are
great.
going to do a Bovril challenge where I'm going to try it out on.
Yeah, drink
Live on
Bovril.
Facebook.
I think you should drink Bovril live on Facebook and then drink beef stock and see if there's a difference. You know when you put a stock
Okay.
cube in some hot
Yeah,
water? Yeah. See if there's a difference, mate.
Is it the same? Is it the same?
I've no idea. I just don't want to do it. So I'm asking if you can do it for me.
I'll let you know the result.
Yeah,
But,
please do.
I would love to be on a session of the Shed Talk. Maybe we could try that out on Shed Talk.
Oh, yeah. We'll give it a go.
Like Ready Steady Cook, but on a on a tight budget.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good. Right. Okay. So what we're gonna do? So I was going to announce a few things before we go. But I want to announce that you guys have got to check out Jared on YouTube, Jared Christmas. You got to also check him out on the link that I've got in the description. He's got a special on there, and also keep an eye out on the on his website for which I'll put in the link as well at some point.
Yeah.
For the virtual shows, because honestly, I joined in last night and it was brilliant fun. It was really brilliant fun,
Oh,
and
thanks,
everyone,
man.
all the couples. It was really nice to see so many couples joining in. And really getting behind the comedy. Some people were dressed up. In fact, something I loved about it was he mentioned on the show that you started them as fancy dress, didn't you? But
Yeah.
not that many people did it.
Yeah.
But then last night there was a great lady who was dressed up as a lobster, and no one else was fancy dress, which was
And she was
made
dressed
it
up for
so
the
much more
whole
special.
thing as well.
Yeah, she didn't
It
take
was
it off,
great.
did she?
No.
And it was a good 2 hours of entertainment.
2 hours,
maybe
yeah.
longer.
It's called the Big Comedy Mess Around Game Show. So we just wanted to put something really silly, some proper escapism, and we get a different comedy guest each episode. I do a Wheel of Limited Fortune where you can win things like spaghetti hoops, £1.50, a reasonably priced bottle of wine, and something that didn't come out last night was a piece of poetry written by myself. So and then we do a music round, we do a proper quiz. Then Rod Gilbert does like a Would I Lie to You section, followed by a What's in the Box. He has a box filled with random stuff, and people just guess what's in there, and it's very funny. It's very simple, but it's very funny.
Awesome. Right, okay. So what we're going to do, we're all going to check that out. What I will do is add those links in the description as soon as we finish this live, because the software that I use doesn't allow me to tag you in anything. So I'm going to tag your Facebook as well.
Do you not find that some of the software is a bit too hard? It's a bit too hard. We should have ended before I did that joke. Oh, no, it's going downhill. Going downhill, Richard.
What a moment to finish on.
Oh,
right, check out Shed Talk as well. We're going to check that out.
I'll
try
Richard.
Don't worry. The beauty is when I upload it to YouTube tomorrow, I'll finish the editing properly. We'll cut this down to a 2-minute video, and it'll be absolutely brilliant material. Awesome. Wicked. So everyone who's joined us tonight, thanks for joining us. And obviously a big thank you to Jared Christmas. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks for having me, Richard. And a big thank you to you.
I appreciate you coming on. Honestly, I've been looking forward to having you on for a while. So thank you very much.
Mate.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. And in your bathroom. Have you got anything else on this evening? Outside
pizza
of the
night.
Bathroom? Or pizza
night.
Night?
Outside the bathroom, it's pizza night, Fridays. Pizza and movie night. So I'll be joining my family, having some homemade pizza and watching a movie.
Well, we're about to have fish and chips and have a movie as well.
Oh, mate, but the movie I'm watching will be something the kids have chosen. We'll be, God. We'll be watching, I don't know, Trolls 2 again. Something like that, you know. I'm trying to convince them to watch proper movies like The Never-Ending Story, The Princess Bride, proper movies, Pulp Fiction, proper movies.
That's old school.
They're not having it. Yeah.
That is a proper old school. Well, enjoy. We're going to go and watch The Never-Ending Story then. Thanks for having us. Appreciate it. Right, let's end with a little cheesy tune as we enter. There he is. Thank you very much, Jared. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. We'll see you again very soon.